Hello, it's me, Alex Lowleys, here to tell you how I made my Among Us costume that I wore on stream the other day. So, I used a wok, as you can see in the video, because it was approximately the size of the width of my shoulders. I made it out of paper mache, so using a cup of water, a cup of flour mixed together, and a couple of newspapers. And obviously a wok is not enough, that was just to get the round shape on top. I also used some recycled cardboard to kind of get the rest of the body underway. So you'll see at the beginning I actually covered the wok in some tape. I just wanted to make sure that I could actually get the paper mache off the wok at a later point. At the moment I'm measuring the cardboard to fit around the wok using a very scientific method, just wrapping it around the wok. So in order to get the cardboard to properly sit around the wok and to be able to form it into a rounded shape, I actually rolled it really tight both ways. That kind of made it easier to manipulate. And now that it's sitting on the wok, I'm just taping it to the wok to hold it in place whilst I'm going to paper mache over it later. So I've got it onto the wok, and now I've actually measured my shoulders and realized that I just need to make it a little bit wider to fit over my shoulders. So I moved the tape a little bit that I had initially just kind of put there as a placer, and I'm now putting an extra panel of cardboard in to give it that extra bit of width to be able to fit over my shoulders. I'm just making sure I secure it all properly before I release that tape in the middle. As you can see now, I'm cutting the panel to size as well and just adding it to the rest of the cardboard. So I just tape my life away just to make sure it's all properly secured, because I do not want it to just droop at any point. So you can see here there's just tape galore all over the place. I used, I think, half a roll of tape, so it wasn't too bad. I'm ripping up the newspaper now, and now the paper mache magic happens. This actually happens over 3 days, so I do a fairly thick layer of paper mache, and then I leave it dry for 24 hours, and then I come back and I do the same thing again, and then I leave it dry for 24 hours, and then I do it once more. I didn't record the second and third day paper macheing, so you'll only see the first night paper mache. After a few layers, I start using a brush just to not use too much liquid because it was getting pretty wet, but also just to be able to smooth it down a little bit nicer. So because I was a little bit caught for time, I did end up doing one of the layers after 12 hours rather than 24 hours, just because I didn't have as much time as I wanted to give myself. So you can see here I'm already painting it white. So I'm painting it white the night before I need it. I needed it at 2 p.m. on a Friday, and this is me on the Thursday evening quite late, just putting on the first layer of white paint. Because newspaper obviously has a lot of different dark print on it, I just wanted to make sure that it was all just a bit more white. So I actually had gotten myself a pumpkin carving kit, so I'm using the saw from that now to just trim away all the excess that I don't need, all of the obvious cardboard bits, and I'm just trying to free the wok at this point. The bit where the handle is that I'm cutting out, that's where the eye hole is going to be. The bit at the back where you can see that there's kind of a slot where the handle is going to slip out, that'll be the back of the costume, so nobody's going to see that bit. So it took me actually quite a while to get the wok out. There was a lot of cutting away tape and shimmying the wok around before I managed to do it. You can see I'm pretty ecstatic about the whole situation. So there's still loads of tape from the wok actually left inside, so I'm just taking that out, I'm just cutting it out, taping some of it to the side and using a hairdryer to dry the paper mache that's still in there because it was a little bit damp. To be honest, a little bit smelly as well. I'm just making sure that it actually fits on my head. I'm trying to figure out exactly where the eye holes are going to be. And now I'm just drawing the eye holes where they're going to be so I can cut them out using my handy little pumpkin saw that I'm very excited about. Once I sawed the hole where I wanted it to be, I just used my hands to kind of smooth out the edges. And I'm going to mix the paint now to try and get that cyan look. When I play Among Us, I always have the same color that I play with, that's cyan, and I always wear a golden crown as well. That's kind of my look. So now I'm trying to mix a color that kind of matches that jumper because I'm going to wear that jumper underneath. I used loads of white, I used some dark blue, and I used a little bit of green just to try and get that right shade. For the visor, I'm actually including one of the shadow bits of the visor. So I'm just mixing the blue that I already have, the cyan, with some black, just to get that darker blue for the visor. I'm also going to use some clear cellophane so that I can still look through the visor, but that it still kind of looks like a visor, not just a hole. I'm using a glue gun because I just found that sellotape and stuff wasn't really sticking to the paper mache very well. So I thought hot glue might be the best way to go about it. I did burn my fingers a lot, but just don't burn yourself when you're trying, please. I'm also giving the visor a black kind of rim. Obviously in the game, the characters in general have big black outlines, so I'm just doing that for the visor. It was pretty messy when I was doing it with the paint, so I then also grabbed a permanent marker once it was dry, just to kind of smooth out the edges a little bit more. And I've changed into that cyan jumper. Now you can see the finished product. There you go! An Among Us costume.